Y'all rise, enemies be scattered. And then the hate must flee. Y'all rise, enemies be scattered. And then the hate must flee. This is the day that Yah has made. We will rejoice and be glad in this day, on the Shabbat day. We will worship His name on Shabbat, on Yom Shishi, beginning of Shabbat. We will give Him praise, honor, and glory this day. Yahuwah. Heaven be silent, Yahuwah, into His tabernacle. Let all heaven earth be silent as Yahuwah into His tabernacle. Let our minds, our soul, and our body be prepared for the Most High to enter His tabernacle. Let us bless His name today. Let's give reverence to His Kodesh Shem, His holy name. Let us stand blowing in shofar. Hallelujah. Let's pray. Yahuwah, we thank you again. We praise you on this mighty day, on this Shabbat day that you have given us men to worship you, Yah. We thank you for another day, the breath of life. We thank you for the living soul you made us. We thank you for the eyes to see, the ears to hear. We thank you for our hands to use, our feet to walk. We thank you for the body you gave us, the vessel. Yah, we just thank you. The food that we eat each day, the vine for the drink. We drink every day, water or anything for nursing for our body. We thank you, Yeshua. We only know it only comes from you. But on Shabbat day we come to worship you. On Shabbat day we come to seek your face today, Yah. Oh, Yah, we thank you for another day that you've given us, Yah, that we may worship you. For, Yah, you made the fish of the seas, the fowls, the air, the beasts of the field, Yah. You made every creeping thing on the earth, Yah. You gave a yield, given seed for man, for me. You gave the vine for man to drink, Yahuwah. You made man your own image, you gave him the breath for life. You made woman from man, Yahuwah. We thank you, even made Yahusha, the Mashiach, for our atonement, for the blood that cleanses us, to make us whole, Yah. You made the sun, the moon, the stars, Yah. You made the Melechis, your host, to help mankind, Yahuwah, to do your will, to do your work, Yahuwah. Oh, Yah, but on the seventh day, for all your work, Yah, you say you blessed it and you sanctify it. For all the 6 days you work, you say you sanctify this day. That you commanded, Yah, for Israel, Yah, Yisrael, to worship on this day, Yah. And we come to do this thing today, Yah. We come to worship you on this day, Yah. To worship you. We come to be obedient to your word, Yahuwah, on this day, Yah. So, Yah, I ask you again, Yeshua, to be in this place right now. We ask you, let's say Yahweh's prayer together. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Our mind may be seated in the house of Yah. I welcome you, TV Land. I am Bishop Ronald K. Hurston Jr. I welcome you to the house of Yah. We're here at 118 Cheney Avenue, Jacksonville, North Carolina. So we're in the beginning of the Shabbat on Yom Shishi, starting at 7. Then we got Shabbat, which is tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Then we got study of the Torah. Yahuwah study instruction of the Torah on Yom Revi at 7 o'clock. You're always welcome. And like I said, the phone number here is 910-381, well, 910-388-5295. That is a Bethel's phone number. And I gave you the phone number, so I gave you the times of the services, the days, and a message. If you don't understand, that's the phone number, 910-388-5295. My phone number is 910-381-3056. That is my number. Still, if you have any problems with the service or problems with me, problems with one of my ministers, I ask you to please call me. And we'll discuss on the line what's going on. And plus, if you want to talk to me, anything you need to talk, you know, I'm here for you to speak the Dabarim. All right, the creed of Bethel is Ephesians 4:5. We believe one Yah, one faith, one baptism, one Yahuwah, one faith, the death, burial, resurrection of Yahusha, and that one baptism must be born again of water and spirit. If you want to be a child of Yah, you have to be born again. You have to be born again first to be in the kingdom. And then Ephesians chapter 2, verse 20, our foundation built upon the apostles and the prophets and Yahushua Mashiach, chief cornerstone. A Bethel foundation. Our foundation built upon the apostles and the prophets. Yahushua is the chief cornerstone. He is the foundation. He is what we stand on, is the Yahushua. He is the rock. We build into the other ground and sink in sand, but he is the rock that we build our house upon, where Bethel built his house upon. All right? Okay. Did I miss anything? All right then. Again, I thank you for another day to be in the house of Yah. It's been a day, but it's a Shabbat. I ain't really got much to say. I still even trying to get my sermon done. Sure, I might get Brother Favor to speak tomorrow. Now I can do that too. But I am thankful. It's been 2 days already. I just started a consecration fast before Yahuwah, and I'm excited what he's doing. And I believe he's going to do a lot more. And prayer, trying to get this vessel back to him properly. And then the only way you can do that is by fasting and praying. If there's anything in me that y'all that don't like, that's why I'm praying for. Let me know what's going on, so I may repent and turn from my wicked ways. If there's anything in me, so that's a natural thing. There's a spiritual battle out there. It's warfare. The only way you can do this to beat the devil is by prayer and fasting. All right, we'll pass this mic a little bit. All right.
All praise to the Most High, y'all, for His goodness and His mercy and His grace.
Yes.
Once again, delivering into His house, into His tabernacle, and also delivering me from a week, delivering me from the evil one.
Yes.
And give me grace to live another day to get it right. And with all my might, I give Him all praises to be in the house with my brother and sister in the Word and the Dabarim, to learn the good things of Him, because every good thing comes from Him, from above. All praises.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
All glory to Yahushua Mashiach.
All right.
Thank you for making brother. That's amongst the living of the living. You know, all praises to him. Thank you for keeping us and keeping our mind, body, and soul healthy and getting everything in order. Like the brother Ron was praying. Anything in you break the stronghold in us or whatnot, physical and spiritual. Yes. And I pray it's a Baruch Shabbat. The word go out. Hallelujah.
All right, Sister Sue, blessings.
Shalom, blessings. I just want to thank you for waking me up, giving me a sound mind, and just for His divine guidance. Shabbat first, Isaiah 66, 21 to 24.
Yeah.
And I will also take of them for priests and for Levites, saith Elohim. For as the new heavens and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, saith Elohim, so shall your seed and your name remain. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Shabbat to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith Elohim. And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of men that have transgressed against me, for their worm shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched, and they shall be an abhorrent unto all flesh.
Bottom on that one. All right. Thank y'all again for being in this house. All right, we got Minister Richard. He will be speaking for this evening. Thank y'all. He's ready to go. All right. Keep Elder Ishmael in prayer. He's up there helping a friend. And I know Elder King's probably on his way right now. He has not called in. Well, I got my volume on my phone down for all the transportation that he's coming for. Just pray for anybody else is out. Continue to pray for Sister Belitra. I had a chance, me and my brother had a chance to help her out yesterday, and I thank Bishop Friday from Jesus Lord Church. He provided the food and the food bank. Had a chance to give her a box of food. They were saying they would have in the house without no food or anything else. But like I said, I'm glad that we can step in and do what y'all asked us to do. You know, in time, no matter what's going on, no matter what you did, or being sin or what, but y'all still has us as his hands. You know. Now, if we couldn't do anything, that's of y'all. But if it's in our power that we can do something, give y'all the praise and the glory, and we can do it no matter what condition that you're in. That's what we are here for. And I thank y'all for that. You know, just continue to keep her in prayer and the children in prayer. You know, as the finances, and like all of us are going through something. Praying for you, Sister Sue, about your car, about your power steering. So, and your spiritual warfare and dreams and everything else. You know, y'all will bless you, y'all will keep you. You know, so just like with me and issues and things with my life right now, I think y'all, we just got to continue believing. Like you said, the road's not always going to be gravy. The road's not always going to be easy. We think it's always going to be easy. We think it should be easy. But if it is easy, then we won't get a chance to lean on y'all. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why it's not easy, so we already know what we can look to. Like you said, I look to the hills which come my help. My help comes from Yahuwah, which made the sharper rings and the rust. You know what I'm saying? You should not suffer my foot to be moved. That's what I'm saying. Or it say, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I should not fear no evil, for thy rod and thy staff comforts me. You know, and then he said he prepares a table before me and my enemies. You know, stuff like that. You know, so and when he said no weapon formed against you should prosper. You know, and then other things we say, you know, but like I said, it's all in faith. One of the brothers from Burundi texted me. He said Hebrew chapter 1, faith, you know, with faith, there's such things, not seeing things, hoped for. I probably messed that scripture up, but still, man, you gotta have faith in this thing. You gotta believe. Continue every day by day. You gotta believe that each day is different. Every day is not the same day. You still gotta go out the door and walk and go out where you gotta go. You can't hide. You can't be like an ostrich, you know, put his head in the sand. We put our heads in the bed and turn and put our heads under the pillow or under the covers, or just don't want to come out, just want to face the world. But we got to face the world. You know, we got Yahusha. Yahusha is our strength. Y'all is our battle axe. And y'all is our shield. It is our strength. It is our health. It is our well-being. So these are things that are going on. We are going through a lot, but we already know that y'all can deliver us. Y'all can heal us. Y'all sees us because we already know, y'all know that we are valuable. He even says that Yahushua said we are valuable than sparrows. If you see the sparrow fall from a tree, how much do you see us? And he says, you know, if he feeds the lions and the tigers as well, would you think he'd feed us? You know, and clothe us, you know, and keep our right mind. You know, he said, Yahushua said, don't even think about this. You know, we are more valuable than this. I say these things mostly because I say it to myself. You know, if I start fearing or buckling up or looking at where my next meat coming from, I have to think of these things. But I know Yahuwah is good. And I know Yahuwah is faithful and just. He don't did it many other times. That's where we got to look. We got to start remembering what he did. What he did, we already know he can do it. He can do it again. We got to remember these things. You know, I can make money in 5 minutes, and money in 30 minutes, money in an hour. I made $200 in 5 minutes. I made $500 an hour. Legal. I know y'all can do it again. You know, time. But like I said, we already know it's the enemy got parts of this too. So you got to know it's the enemy too. You know, it's spiritual wickedness around us. You know, we fight against. And I think about the same thing against back Daniel. Then when Daniel started praying, you know, the princes of Persia or Babylon, whoever it was, came down. Grecians came down to fight amongst Daniel. Daniel didn't know that. So Gabriel came, and Gabriel had to call on Michael, his companion, Michael, not companion, but you know, Melchizedek, to fight the war, so you may get this message through. Maybe the same thing with me, and maybe with you. You know, Satan's right there fighting you, man. You don't know, so you need to call on Melchizedek, man. You need to call him. You know, you need to call out on him, and I'll call on him to fight for my battle. You know, like I said, we got to, like Yahushua said, you call our legions on him to fight. You know, it said we are his children, so we have the right to call upon the Melchizedek to fight our battles. But when you fight your battle, let you cleanse and you whole. Let you in his will, let you walk in his ways, his statutes, commandments, judgment, precepts. And that's the only way that y'all will move. You know, you got to have the blood of Yahushua. If you ain't got the blood of Yahushua on you, he ain't going to do nothing, really. Satan probably do something to fool you. But you have the blood of Yahushua on you, that means you're sealed, you're bought. You're bought with a price, you're his. Not necessarily you're Yisrael, you know. You know, you might be yes around the covenant, but man, it's different. You got to be in the blood. It's different. You know, it's different with the blood. The blood of Yahushua. You got to sacrifice it, Yahweh, of Yahushua. Yahushua said, you do anything in my name, his Father will do it to give Yah the glory. And that's why we do things in his name. That his will be done. His will be done on earth as it is in Shamarim. Right? All right. Sorry to get a little something. I ain't really go out here not preaching a little bit. You get our Minister Richard. He going to be speaking this evening. So I present y'all my brother, Minister Harrison, Richard Harrison. All right. My elder coming in here. Yes, sir.
Shalom.
All right. Yep. Yahushua loves us. For the doctrine the Torah tells us so. He loves us, he loves us, he loves us. Especially when they are obedient. Especially when they keep in Shabbat. Right? Present to all y'all, Minister Richard Harrison.
Hallelujah. All praises to the Most High, y'all, for giving us another day in his presence and another day in his glory. It's all for him and none for me. I want to thank him for his favor. Thank him for life itself through his son, Yahusha. Thank him. I thank him mightily to be amongst the living. And if I wasn't, then I'll be in his glory. All praise. The message came to me this week, kind of like a little brother. I always piggyback off your big brother sometimes, but it's almost a follow-on to his sermon last week about being a servant of sin. Almost like that, you know. It wasn't done on purpose. It's of the Spirit. And my message is dealing with sowing the seed and reaping the blessings. The name of my sermon is Sowing the Good Seed and Reaping the Blessings of Yah. And I was thinking about this message because of the time of season and also about the festivals and learning about the festivals. And we had the festival of Purim this week, and that was a festival and a celebrated festival and a remembrance of good tidings and good things to come. And also it's about giving. And we give of ourselves and give to our fellow brother and sister, and some who are in good standing and not good standing. And that's how I came up with the message tonight about sowing. You're sowing good things, and you will reap good things from the Most High. But also, like the bishop was saying last week, if you sow into sin, you're going to reap the benefits of sin, and we all know that is death and destruction. And Romans said, the wages of sin is death. So you have choices. The Most High always gives us choices from day one since he set us into the garden. He said choices. You have free will. You can sow the good seed and reap the benefits and the blessings of Yah, or you can sow into sin and reap the benefits and the blessings of this world and the rule of this world, which is Satan. But we also know, for those who are in the spirit, we know the outcome of that. If you're going to sow into the sin, and sow the seed of sin, you're going to reap the benefits and its death and destruction. We already know that this world is going to burn up. And everything in this world is going to burn up. And even when we get to the heaven, to the throne, all our works are going to be tested and tried and true into the flame. And everything that's not of him is going to burn up. And if we're not careful, we're going to burn up too. And he's going to say, depart from me, because I did not know you. All your works of iniquity. Amen? So we have an obligation to sow the good seed. After we have reached, after we come to the saving knowledge of Yahusha through the Most High Yah, and that is salvation. So we have an obligation, and I'll talk about that later on in the sermon, that we owe everything. We are bought with a price, as the bishop was saying. We're not of our own. So we should sow willingly and happily, and not grudgingly, and not doing things that's not of the kingdom of Yah. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. Once henceforth we get saved, we are bought with a price. We are supposed to sow the seed. We are called for a service. We are servants of salvation, not a servants of sin, as the bishop was saying. And the Most High, like I said, He gave us the choices to do that. If we don't do it, then we will reap what we sow, and that is death and destruction. He will turn His head against us, turn His hand against us. Or like we say in the book of Joshua, He will show us hurt, or cause us to hurt.
That's right.
He will cause us to hurt. And because of sin, we sow in a cursed ground. And what I mean by that, because of the fall of man, everything that we do is right now is cursed until Yahushua comes back and reclaims us to His own, because this world is not our own. And that's what I mean by we sow into a cursed ground. So basically, that everything we do without the power and without the blessings of the Most High is going to be cursed. It's going to fall on bad ground, like the parable of the sower and the seed. Let's go to Genesis chapter 3, verse 17 and 19 and get into this word and let you know what I'm talking about when we say, we are sowing on cursed ground. So the odds are against us even before we begin. But glory and hallelujah to the Most High that He will bought with a price that we can sow into further. We're not sowing into this world, we're sowing into the future. That's what I want to talk about tonight. So Genesis chapter 3, verse 17 through 19. And it reads, And unto Adam He said, Because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, Thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat till the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. And in the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground. For out of it wast thou taken, for dust thou art, and thus shalt thou return. And like I said, that's why we are already on a losing battle before we came to the saving knowledge of Yahushua, because this whole ground is cursed. This whole world is cursed thanks to our forefathers Adam and Eve. And when I was reading this on a side note, verse 17. Let's go back to verse 17 first. And it said, And unto Adam He said, Because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree in which I commanded thee, saying, Thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. And I just noticed this. I know we preached on this before because of Eve disobedience. And really it's because of what y'all this preach about a man is for not standing up for himself. And we preach about this in this house all the time. He's displeased for man for not standing up for himself and being a man because he hearkened to his wife. If you look back at that, first thing he did, he said, Because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife. Then he said, And hast eaten of the tree. I thought it would be first because you eat of the tree, Adam, that you occurred, that he's angry with you. He said, because you hearkened to your wife. You didn't stand up for yourself. You didn't be a man. 2 chapters ago, I put you to dominion over everything and allow you to name everything on this earth, even your own wife, but then you hearken to your wife's voice, and then now I've cursed the ground that you walk on until the end of the earth, and then you're going to return to the ground. So that kind of brought me out when I read that. And basically, what I was thinking about, what y'all was saying is, that the movie Color Purple with Whoopi Goldberg, when she said, "Till you do right by me, everything you do gonna fail." That's basically what the Most High is saying. Until you do right by me, everything you do is gonna fail. That means until you get to the righteousness and to the right of me, everything you go to do is gonna fail. You can't do nothing without me. It's impossible to please Him without faith. And so, like the bishop was saying, until you come to the saving knowledge of Yahushua and by His blood to be covered, that everything you do on this earth, everything you do is going to fail. And it's only by His grace that we are living and standing and walking, because He is just, and He's a loving and powerful and most high. Amen. And automatically, like I said, everything that we're going to sow is going to be into the seed of sin. Automatically, because of this world of sin, we were born into sin, and we die in our sins if we don't accept the gift of salvation through the Most High of y'all, and until we come to the saving knowledge of the Most High and into the saving grace and through the blood of Yahushua, then we will always be sowing into the seed of sin. And that is point blank, and that is, without interpretation, without discretion. That is the truth, and the truth will set you free on that. That's what even not a second thought. Because even David knew that he was born into sin. Even David knew that no matter what I did, I'm already into sin, and only that the Most High can get me out by His grace. Now let's go to Psalms 51, verse 5. I just want to read that one. We got to go to the scripture. Don't believe the words I'm saying, because every man is a lie. We find ourselves true with 2 or more witnesses. And read the word. The word is true. Psalms 51, verse 5. And it reads, Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. So David knew. He knew he was in sin. He knew he was sowing into sin all the time when he was doing that with Bathsheba. He saw her from the rooftop. He lusted after her. He called for her. So he was sowing his seed of sin right there. And he didn't blame it on Satan. He just said, I'm sinful anyway. And the only one that can get me out of this sin is the Most High, Yahuwah. So he knew. He said, Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, so I was born. So like I said, everything that we do, we were on cursed ground from day one, and we were born in iniquity, so the odds are stacked against us. But that doesn't mean that we have to continue into sowing into sin once we come into the saving knowledge of Yahushua and by His blood. Like we always preach in this temple, is by do we continue in sin? It says heaven. Like Grandma said, heavens forbid, or y'all forbid not. That means that we don't continue in sin because we have grace. We continue in sin because we know that we can die, still die, and we'll grieve the Spirit if we continue in sin. That means we're not of the Most High. We're not His children. Or we're not Him. We was bought with a price. That means we were alive. That we didn't receive. We didn't speak openly. We received correctly. Think about double for your trouble if you're sowing in the seed. If you're sowing the seed of sin, you'll get double for your trouble. You'll die physically and you'll die spiritually, just like Adam and Eve did, and they set the pathway and the tone for sin. You'll die spiritually and you'll die physically if you sow into the seed of sin. And that's willfully sow into the seed of sin. You don't have to do it. You have a choice, and the choice is yours because we have free will and we have the saving knowledge of Yahushua through His blood. So there's no reason why we should continue in sin. So we can get that out the way. And like I said, using David as an example of sowing in the seed of sin, he committed adultery and he committed murder. So and that was premeditated. So he was sowing into that seed of sin. He was thought out, and he said already in his mind he planned to sin. He said, I'm going to get that woman, I like her, I'm going to take her. And he thought it out. So he was sowing into that seed. He just planted that seed in instruction in his heart, and then in his mind, he thought it out, and he carried it out. So he was sowing in there. It was preconceived. Just like the same thing is preconceived as when you sleep with a woman, and you sowing your seed in that woman without being married. That's the same thing. You are sleeping with a woman, you're not married, and then you sowing that seed, and the baby is born. The baby is born into sin. That's the same thing David was talking about. I was born in iniquity. I don't know if his parents were married or not. It didn't matter. We were all born in iniquity. But to today's standards, if you're shacking up and you're living with a woman or living with a man and you fornicate and have a baby, the baby is born into sin. You have planted your seed of sin. So that's the example I can use for today's terms in the world if they don't know, they're not into the word like we are. And and the thing about it, everything is generational, perpetual. So if you sow the seed of sin, the same what David did, he sowed the seed of sin to his son, his other son, Absalom, and his other sons. But the thing about it, this is what y'all does. Before what happened to David's child and Bathsheba's child, it died. It had to die because of the injustice, because y'all is just. And the thing about it, what I learned when I was doing the study is the baby had to die because of sinful seed. It would have carried on to the bloodline of David. So if y'all had killed that, Satan got a whiff of that. And Satan's all about that seed. He said, your seed, when y'all had cursed Satan said, the woman's seed is going to crush thy seed with his head, the heel and the head. Satan always was all about that seed, destroying the families, destroying the sons, man against man. But then when David slept with Bathsheba, he said, I got you. He said, that seed, that baby seed is going to be sinful, it's made out of sin, and the bloodline can't come, the Savior can't come through the bloodline of David. But y'all said, I'm already 2 steps ahead of you, I'm going to kill that child, and with my righteousness and my sovereignty, and everything is good. And then we know the bloodline came through Solomon and on down like that. And that's how y'all nips that in the bud. So, that, like I said, it's sinful. To buy into that sinful seed is a big thing with the Most High. That's why look what he did to David's baby. He had to kill it. He had to go because he will not let that sinful seed carry on into the future and mess up the whole plan of salvation. Children, like I said, children born out of wedlock, same concept. They're born a sinful seed. And my own personal testimony, my first child, my son, was born out of wedlock, and the same thing is a sinful seed. And things is not right with my child, and he's doing things that's not, privy to the things of this world, and that's what happened. My second son, again, he was born out of wedlock, but I married the mother. And, that kind of made things all right with y'all, not with the Most High. So for repentance, I married the mother, and then my daughter was born, and we were still married. So the same example I had to use on my own self, like David. Born out of wedlock, I planted the seed of sin, and my firstborn, I call him my prodigal son. He's going back and forth into the world, and not right to this day because I planted the seed of sin, and I'm not living in the righteous way, with the Most High. And like I said, the beginning of the study of the lesson is the sermon. There's 2 kinds of sowing the seed. You sow the seed for salvation, sow the seed for call it good, or sow into the Spirit, or you can sow the seed for sin, and that is sowing the seed to Satan and the destruction of things in this world. And sowing the seed means continually sowing the seed of sin means continually doing sinful things and thinking of sinful ways to produce things in a product. Example is like if you sowing into a business and it's wrong, pimping, pimping, drug dealing, it's wrong, but you're making a lot of money, and even if you're giving that money and giving it back to the community, giving it back to even they give it back to the church, they say, well, I'm gonna give it back to the church. It's still wrong, and that's you sowing into a seed of sin, and for frown on that. That is not like a sacrifice like what they did. With Cain and Abel, it was not a worthy sacrifice. He does not honor that. He said, I detest that. It's a strange smoke. It's fire. He doesn't accept that because of what it came from. So you can sow the seed of righteousness with the seed of good, or you can sow the seed of sin, and that is to Satan. So who are you sacrificing to? Who are you planting for? Who are you working for? Who are you serving for? That's what it is. The wages of sin is death, and we know, and destruction is because destruction is going to come from that sin, and the Most High had already said that. He's killing off everything. And we know that all tares will be separated from the wheat and will be burned with the fire, along with sins and the sinners. So the Most High is going to let you plant your seeds, even if it's sin. He's going to let them grow up together. But in the end, like you said, what you reap is what you sow. He's going to have to burn all that up because it can't come into his storehouse. It can't come into the heavens, into the high with him, because it's evil, it's sin. So he's going to choke all that out. He's going to separate it, and it's going to burn. So you can plant your seeds of sin now, and it's going to grow up, and you're going to think everything is good because I'm making all this money, and I got all this wealth, I got all this prosperity, I'm living right, living my best life, like the song says. And as you get to that throne, and they cut that tares loose and gonna burn everything out. What he gonna do? He's gonna say, okay, all that stuff is materialistic. Where your good works at? What did you do? Just like the festivals, like we just did. Did you get to the poor? Did you help the hungry? Did you go save some souls? That's what the plant the seeds is. Did you go plant that word and plant and try to save some souls and try to make some disciples? No, burnt up. Get them out of here. I got some places for you to go where there'll be gnashing and gritting of teeth, and that's where you're going to be, where the worm will not die. So if you sow initially and to do wrong, and then that's what you're going to get. You're going to reap what you sow, and it's going to be destruction, and it's going to be death. And like I said, you can do everything in this world right now and think you're getting over, but like I said, and we're going to go over the scripture in a minute, that Yah is not mocked. It's like you cannot deceive him. He knows what you're doing. It's like the people of the world try to get over, and they think that they, like they said, they live their best life, even if they do 6 days of sinning, and then on that 7th day they go in there and drop a big load into the offering pot, think that's going to buy off the Most High. It's like, you can't buy me off like that. I bought you. I got a cattle on 1,000 hills. That's nothing to me. So you burning up strange smoke, and I'm not going to accept it. So you can't keep doing what you're doing wrong and accept the Most High to condone that, to let you slip by. He's going to get you. He's going to get you. He's going to get you now, or he's going to get you later. So if you keep, the more you sow into the seed of sin, and the more that you think you're producing, the more destruction are you really producing on yourself. And that's what it's going to catch up to you in the end. Sin will catch you and find you in the end. It didn't escape David. It didn't escape anybody else in the word of David. It will catch you. Let's go to Galatians chapter 6, verse 7 through 10, and talk about reaping and sowing. Galatians chapter 6, verse 7 through 10.
Yeah, that was my sermon last week. I could have spoken on that, but I didn't.
I'm glad, because
That's awesome.
that's how we do it. I'll pick you up. That's how the Spirit does it. Galatians chapter 6, verse 7 through 10. And it reads, "Be not deceived, Yah is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, he shall also reap it. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. As we have therefore opportunity, let us do good unto all men, especially unto them who are of the household of faith." And I'm going to stop right there, because that's the 10th verse. And that's what we've been doing and talking about this past week. As we have the opportunity to let us do good unto all men, especially unto them who are in the household of faith. And we did that, and we practiced that and did that this a couple of days ago when Minister Fabian, he blessed us with a meal, and he showed the men of the house of the faith. And it was a bountiful meal. He came out of his pocket, did everything, cooked and cleaned up. So he blessed us with that. He did good unto us. So he's sowing into some good works. But the good work that we need to sow into is the word and bringing in souls. And that's what we do in the men of the house. We need to be doing is sowing into the word. So let's go to verse 7. We're only fooling ourselves when we think that our sins go unnoticed, like I said. Y'all is not mocked. If you think that we're going away, like, every day we live our best life and we're getting more money, stacks on stacks, even if it's done illegal, then we start being prideful, like King Nebuchadnezzar. He got prideful and said, "This world is mine. I did this on my own. No help, on my own." And that's when the Most High struck him down and humbled himself, and he was out there in the wilderness running around for years acting like an animal. The same thing is, y'all is not mocked, and you think you're getting over it. You think like, because his character, what you're doing is they praying around this world thinking they getting paid, and like I said in Psalms in my last sermon, the ones that are doing right are looking at it and saying, we're saying, "Most High, what's up? I go to Shabbat every week. I pay my tithe and offering. I'm doing good." And this guy out here, he got millions of money, and I'm running around in a hoopty with a dent in it and $1,000 worth of work, but he's got like 10 cars. But the Most High says, you continue doing good. You sow in the seed of the Spirit of doing good. Your rewards are going to come in the afterlife. You're going to get provisions here, but your rewards are going to come in the afterlife. That person right there, he is just sowing his seed, and it's going to come, and it's going to come, and his death and destruction is going to come in the by and by. As a matter of fact, I'm going to judge him, and you're going to watch me judge him. And the thing is, and he's going to watch you gain the benefits. In my last sermon, he said, "I prepares the table before my enemies." So you keep on doing what you're doing, planting a good seed into the Spirit, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to him, and then he's going to watch you benefit, just like Lazarus in the poor man. He's going to watch you benefit. So this goes back to the saying is, do as I say and not as I do, and that's what the verse 7 is saying, do not be deceived. And that it goes for the men of ministry, like I was saying in verse 10. For the men of faith in the ministry, we ought to do good. Some men, what it's saying is the men of ministry are doing bad, or sowing the seed of sin. You know, those ones in the ministry are do as I say, not as I do. They're preaching the good word, and then they're going out there doing all kinds of things that's not acceptable to the word here in the book. They're doing all kinds of sin. They're saying don't do this, and don't sleep with this, and don't sleep with that, but they're sleeping with this and sleeping with that, and they're coming in here telling you not to do it. So this scripture is for them. They're sowing the seed of sin, and they're going to reap destruction because it's twofold. They are a head, they are a shepherd, and they're saying that don't do this, and they're doing it, but they're preaching it to another way and not doing it. The Most High doesn't accept that. That's, like I said, that's not a good sacrifice. He will not count that. He will reap destruction on that. He says, depart from me for workers of iniquity. So everything will come to a halt in due season, in due time. So right now in this season, this is the season to be planting seeds, because the harvest. He wants the harvest. He's going to ask us, where are your fruits? Where are your fruits? And just like the parable of the talents, where are your talents at? That's what the Most High is going to say. What have you done for me lately? And all that is done at the end. So we need to plant the seeds now of good, and so we can reap the right harvest for Him. He's the master sower. He's the husbandman. So He's gonna reward us according to what we sow in and what we produce in fruits for His glory and not of our own, like the workers of seed are doing the seeds for sin. And all seeds will lead to destruction for the seeds of sin. So we don't want to be around that. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 13, verse 21. A couple of short scriptures about sowing into the seed of sin. And I like Proverbs because it's a book of wisdom. It talks about that, staying away from evil, staying away from things that will bring you down. So Proverbs chapter 13, verse 21, just a short verse, and it's talking about what happens to people that sow into sin, and then sow into a sinful nature. Proverbs 13, verse 21. Evil pursueth sinners, but to the righteous good shall be repaid. I'll read verse 22 as well. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. So verse 21, sowing. If you sow sometimes, you won't see the fruits of your labor until the end, and that's what this verse is saying. And even to the evil one, you look at them to the neighbor's yard, like the Joneses, the grass is always greener, and it's like, oh man, why are they always producing and why are they always getting? But they're doing it the wrong way. They're doing it they're not the right way. They're not doing it with the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. They're not doing it the way He said do it, because His way is just, and it's all about the Most High's character. So if you're doing it some other runabout way, there's only one way to get into to the gate, the narrow way. You can't come to the left or right. Even Yahusha said you try to get over or under or going about, it's not going to happen. That's the wrong way, and it's not going to happen by Him. There's only one way to get in. So it's the Most High's, it's Yahweh's way or no one's way. And like I said, play on words, Yahweh. It's His way, Yah's way to get in. And the sinful nature is not going to get in. The sowing of the sin is not going to get in. And y'all will repay back later. That's what it's all about. When we sow seeds today, our rewards are laid up in heaven. Our treasures are laid up in heaven. When we produce the seed, it's not us to cultivate either. It's us just to plant seeds and to move on. The Most High does all the cultivating. He waters and plants and He takes up and plants and removes whatever He wants to. But as long as we keep planting seeds in the righteous way, in His good way, and then we will reproduce the benefits. We reap the benefits of the Most High at due season, the harvest. And I'm talking about the great harvest at the end of times, where He's going to harvest everybody up to His own, and then He's going to judge those for the right things and the wrong things. And we're like, what have you done for me lately? Let's go skip over to Proverbs 15:6. Proverbs 15:6, another short scripture about sowing in good seed and sowing in evil seed. And it reads, in the house of the righteous is much treasure, but in the revenues of the wicked is trouble. So in in y'all's place in his house is much treasure if you're doing the things of him. But the ones that sowing the seed into wickedness, they're going to have trouble, much trouble. They might not see it now, but they'll see it later. And you notice that, like they say, more money, more problems. That's what I'm talking about in a wicked way. You notice somebody having problems, they have bags under their eyes, and always just not in a good spirit, because even though they got all this money, they got these houses and cars, they don't look healthy. They don't look happy. They don't look healthy. Because they know they obtain those things in a wrongful way, in a sinful way, and it's not right. It's not righteous. So their revenues are the wicked is trouble, because the Most High is against them now, because you have done things, your works of iniquity. So it don't matter how much you make, it don't matter what you do, it don't matter if you discover the fountain of youth, it don't matter. You're in trouble with the Most High, because the things you've done is in a sinful nature, in a sinful way, and it doesn't work with the Most High. And the sin leads to destruction of life and an unhealthy life. And the destruction of sin is death. You know, the wages of sin is death, and it's just plain destruction. You're killing yourself slowly. It's like a slow poison into you. So every seed that you do, everything that you plant, and everything that you build on is going to come crumbling down. It's like a slow death. It's like a slow poison in an IV just dripping into your veins, into your physical body, and into your soul. And that's what you're doing, basically, just killing yourself slowly. You're killing yourself softly. Let's go to one more Proverbs. Proverbs 23, chapter 23. Proverbs 23, start at verse 29. Let's go back. I'm sorry, let's go to verse 24 and work our way down. I like this Proverbs right here because it's talking about, again, about the people that do righteousness and stay on the right path, and it talks about when you sow into the seed, what sin can do to you, how it can deceive you, and how it can just deteriorate your mind, your body, and then your soul. Verse 24, that's chapter 23, Proverbs 23, verse 24. The father of the righteousness shall greatly rejoice, and he that begetteth a wise child shall have joy of him. Thy father and thy mother shall be glad, and she that beareth thee shall rejoice. My son, give me thy heart, and let thy eyes observe my ways. For a whore is a deep ditch, and a strange woman is a narrow pit. She also lieth in wait as for a prey, and increaseth the transgressors among men. Who have woe? Who have sorrow? Who have contentions? Who have babbling? Who have wounds without cause? Who have redness of eyes? They that tarry long at the wine, they that go to seek mixed wine. Look not thou unto the wine when it is red, when it is given in its color in the cup, when it is moving itself aright. At the last it biteth like a serpent, and stingeth like an adder. 33. Thy eyes shall behold strange women, and thine heart shall utter perverse things. Come on. Like I said, it starts off with 24, is your child. And if you got a son, you bring him up where he should go, and you're warning him about these things and wisdoms. And his father's telling him, son, do things are good. His mom was saying, son, do things are good. In verse 25, for father thy mother shall be glad. You do things are good, and they shall rejoice. Same with the Most High. He's saying, do things are good. Sow into the things that are good. Seek for righteousness and things that are good, things that are of me, and you'll be happy. Because that means you're looking this way and not going through the ways of sin. In verse 26, he said, my son, give me thy heart, and let thy eyes observe my ways. That's the Most High saying, you give me your heart, and you give me all of you, and then you give me your eyes and your heart, and you observe my ways. I will teach you my laws, statutes, and commandments, so you won't go to the ways of the sin in the world. Because like I said, we are already cursed, we are already in sin. But as soon as you give me your heart, you give me, and I give you my spirit, and you look toward me, and I will direct your eyes to my way, so you won't look what the neighbors got over there. You won't look what they got, and the cars they got, and the money, and the jewelry, and the women, and all that. You will look toward the things of Yah, the Most High, and that's goodness and righteousness. And what I have for you, I have for you later on. And verse 28 is destruction. Sin is, and the women are here depicted as the whores, and the strange woman is sin, and it's destruction. And following sin and sowing into sin will lead into destruction. Like I said, the whore is a deep ditch, and she's just waiting for you. So it don't matter if you keep doing the things and sowing into sin, you're gonna fall into a deep ditch and you can't get yourself out. In a strange woman is a narrow pit. That means if you dabbling in the sense, you dabbling into, like I said, I only dabble into the mystic arts. I only dabble into this. There's no dabbling. Once you dabble, then you get hooked. You get addicted. I only take a drink. I only took a little snort. I only took one hit. I only took a hit. Next thing you know, you strung out and you hooked, and then you just sold into that seed, and then you done lost everything. That's what that strange woman is right there. If you dabble in it, if you sow it into it, that's what dabbling is. If you sow into something, you dabbling in it, and then next thing you know, you are hooked, you are addicted, and then you lead to the roads of destruction. Verse 29, who have woe, who have sorrow, and who have contentions, who have babbling, and who have wounds without cause, and who have redness of eyes. And like I said earlier, that's somebody who's been sowing in the seed of sin. He has all those troubles, like that song, trouble. That's the person who got all those troubles. He got more money, got more problems. And everybody has troubles. But the one who sows into the sin, he causes their own troubles and their own problems. He has nobody to get him out of because he can't turn to the Most High unless he repent. Well, I'm talking to somebody who is then having come to the saving knowledge of the Most High. And heard about it and knows it, and he hasn't given choices. But he chose that lifestyle, so he has nobody to run to get him out. And what he's going to do is run to the deeper sin. He's going to run to the people who's already deeper in it. And all the solution is like, hey man, take another hit. Hey man, hey, you need some more money? Oh, hey man, you go drop this thing off at this neighborhood right there, and I'll pay you some money at 33% or 45%, like a loan shark. So who has trouble? They have troubles, and like I said, they have trouble first with the Most High. They got to get out of trouble with Him first. It don't matter what everybody else is going to do. And Satan's trouble is nothing compared to the wrath of the Most High when it comes down on you because of you seeking into sin. And the thing about seeking into sin, you're always going to bring somebody else in there as well that's trying to do right. You know, it's not all about everybody's evil. If you putting your seed into sin, you're going to drag somebody else is trying to do right. And that's when the Most High gets upset. He said, the least you done to one of these, you've done unto me. We always say that you might as well put a millstone around your neck and throw yourself into the lake than you hurting one of these. It's always called collateral damage. That's what Satan is all about. If you're going to get one, he won't take out the whole lane like bowling. He don't want just the head pin. He want all 10. It's called collateral damage with him. So when you sow into seed of sin, you're not just getting yourself. Satan is about territory. He wants everybody to associate with. He wants your family. He wants your kids. He wants your wife. He wants your neighbor. He wants your boss. He wants it all just to discredit the Most High. Because look what I made him do. I made him sin and sowing into me because he always wanted to be a God from day one. So if you're sowing into sin, you are spreading disease, and you're like a sin. You're sowing a seed. It pollinates. That's what seeds do. So you're sowing that seed of sin. You're trying to pollinate. You're trying to corrupt as much people as you can for your God, and that is Satan. And that's what the Most High has a problem with. That's when you have a problem with him. That's why he's going to take you out. Maybe not in this lifetime, but the next. Verse 30 and 33. I'll just recap on that. When it says, when you sow into the seed of sin, you're longing for trouble, and you believe you're not doing things righteous, and that's what the master's plan is. He's the master deceiver, Satan. So, like I said, you're doing his will and not of the Most High. And the same thing is living together and the laws of man and cheating on taxes and things like that. That is what you're sowing into, and you think you're doing righteous, but you're not. And that's what the Most High is upset with when you're not sowing into the things of good. Now I'm going to talk about sowing into the things that are good and sowing into the Spirit, and that's when you reap the blessings. Like I said, after being saved, you should want to do the things that's right. You should want to do the things for the Most High because He saved you from a burning hell. And all He asks is for you to live right and do things of Him. It's all about the redeeming of His children, His people. So you are tasked, you are now a sower of the seed. You are now to make disciples of men, and that's where Yahushua came. First, He came to drop some seeds and make His disciples, and then he commissioned them to do the same thing. we are to be fruitful and multiply. He said that in the first chapter of Genesis. He said, go, be fruitful and multiply. That means go pollinate not just your physical seed, but pollinate spiritually and go and multiply and bring them onto the storehouse. And you can't do that if you're in the sinful nature because you don't know those things. All you worried about yourself and things of this world. And two things I'm reading in this sermon is you're not to be sinful and to do things like that because grace abounds. And don't take grace abounds. We always preach here, don't take the grace the wrong way because grace abounds. That's not what it meant. If grace is sufficient enough for you, that means the Most High has grace when you do sin, not knowingly. But even if you do know and you repent, turn from your ways, He has enough grace to cover that. But you're going to say, okay, I sin and go back out and do it.
Only another cover that grace.
Yeah, grace is abound. He said, I got enough grace, everlasting supply of grace. Oh, then let me go use my quota up for this month and then be all right, and then say I'm sorry at the end. Like I said, 6 days of sinning, and then the 7th day you want to put everything into the offering plate of everything that you gain from your sinful ways. And another thing I learned in the sermon is not to be on cruise control. I call it being on cruise control for Christ. And that means that once you get saved, you ain't supposed to sit back and say, well, okay, I'm just going to wait for the rapture to come. Because remember, you wait for the rapture to come and do nothing. You live right, you stay in my house and watch TV and listen to music and don't be bothered by nobody. That's not what you're here for. Like I said, the Most High wants you to go forth and be fruitful and multiply. You got to go win souls over for Him because He's not going to do it. It's all about free will. So He's charging you to do it. So if you're going to sit back and wait and wait for the rapture and get up there and say, all right, here I am, Most High. I didn't do anything. I kept your commandments like the rich guy told Yahushua. I've done all this from day one. He told me, go sell everything and follow me. That's the same thing. He was trying to commission him and make him a disciple, but he could not do it. So he said, it's a sad day for you when you get to heaven. And that's the same thing that Yahushua was saying at the parable of the talent. The ones that sold it, they gained interest on it. And that's what the Most High wants us to do. But the one that did, he buried it. He buried his talent. He didn't do nothing with it. He didn't sow no good seed. He just buried his seed and did nothing with it. He's supposed to go make more and produce. And that's what producing their fruit. And he did not do that. And he got dealt with, as you see, in a timely way at the end of life and the afterlife. Let's go to Matthew Matthew chapter 28, verse 18 through 20. And it's talking about some examples of sowing a good seed.